My goodness, guys, what a victory our Denver Broncos had yesterday against the Cleveland Browns and Jameis Winston by the score of 41-32. I'm going to break down all of my post-game thoughts with you guys. Of course, I want to hear what you guys have to say. Again, sorry I wasn't live yesterday or this morning, battling some sickness, but feeling good to do some short form videos. And let's go ahead and get into it. So there's individual players, their performances that I'm going to get to, but the overarching theme, I guess, is two things. One, we got a quarterback. We got a quarterback that does not falter, even if the game is slipping away for most of the game. And then, and just in general, man, we got a resilient team, and this was truly a resilient performance. I think this game, as well as last week's game against the Raiders, these are normally games in which our Denver Broncos over the last, 8 seasons or so, we normally lose. We usually have to be playing some of our best football in order to beat opponents, squeeze out victories, and yeah, we covered the spread, I believe, which is just crazy to think about when we got absolutely eviscerated by Jerry Jeudy. So that is, let's start with Jerry Jeudy. One, happy to see him having success. Two, hate to see his career game, his best game ever happening against his former team. Us Broncos fans, I mean, we vouched for this guy for so long, and he honestly, he just sucked during his time here. Now, could you blame that on the quarterback? Other things in the organization, sure, but he benefited from this fresh start. And it's like this is just so par for the course with Broncos and revenge games. Like Nathaniel Hackett running the ball over us last year against the Jets. It was just terrible. And you saw him have a career night tonight. I'll go ahead and pull it up in the box score. 9 receptions, 235 yards. Levi Wallace was absolutely fried chicken out there. Looked incredibly slow. There was coverage, communication breakdowns. I believe Levi Wallace was responsible for over 200 yards of Jerry Jeudy's career night. And that was really hard to see, man. It was really hard to see. Really hard to stomach the fact that our defense could not counter with any adjustments for Jerry Jeudy and this Browns offense that was also missing Cedric Tillman. Imagine if Cedric Tillman was playing. I imagine they get this win. But Jameis Winston, of course, having an incredible Jameis Winston night. He went for 497 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 2 of which were pick sixes. Man, our Jameis, this was, I think, one of the best games and probably a game that just epitomizes his career. Just making awesome throws, really lighting it up, getting rid of the ball, having amazing placement. But then at the worst times, he's making some of the most bonehead decisions. And I love how he said in the post game, he's like, Jesus, I need you to just deliver me from pick sixes. That's not who I am. I would love to see Jameis Winston here as a backup quarterback, but at the end of the day, I think he'll continue to get chances of being a bridge starter for some of these teams down the line. But the defensive performance, I mean, that just really confused me, particularly why we were so stubborn with putting Levi Wallace on there when it was very clear in the first half he could not cover Jerry Jeudy. It was great to see Chris Abrams drain on that last drive, finally get his shot against Jerry Jeudy, or just get his shot out there with in replacement of Levi Wallace. And he got that pass interference. I think that was on Elijah Moore, but I felt like he held his own, which is great. Jaquan McMillan, of course, had that pick six where after we went up 2 points in the fourth quarter, Browns are driving and he just comes up with an incredible play, read that throw that Jameis Winston telegraphed perfectly and took it back to the house. I mean, what an electric moment. Shout out to Nick Bonino for his pick six as well. I mean, I've been thrilled. I've comped him to maybe having like an Elvis Dumerville, like maybe one-off all-pro season, but it seems to me like my stock on him a few weeks ago or a couple of months ago was a little low. He's playing fantastic football, and he's been an incredible edge rusher for us. 11 sacks, which is up as one of the league's highest, which was great. Now, I do want to get to offensively some different things. First off, Bo Nix, 18 of 35. This was something that Kodiak and I talked about before the game in our preview of just how we felt like Sean Payton was going to come out here and try and prove a point. Bo Nix can tear it up. He's going to throw it around. And we saw that with Sean Payton just being overly aggressive in a lot of his play calls. I think in his post game on that interception that he threw that was intended for Marvin Mims after that Jerry Jeudy touchdown, you saw that in the post game, he said that, yeah, I shouldn't have called that. That was just bad. But I think Sean Payton came out with kind of something to prove, and it backfired on him. No doubt about it. This was one of Bo's worst statistically throughout his rookie season. Again, 18 of 35, 294 yards, a touchdown, 2 picks. Definitely blame the first one on just a great play by Ward, but that second throw was a bad one. I hate throwing jump balls in coverage to guys who are like 5'11", 5'10", which is Marvin Mims size. Would feel a lot better if that was, for instance, to Vele or to Troy Franklin, just with their larger size frame. But big story of the day for me was that Bo Nix, even after we lost the lead there in the fourth quarter, he orchestrated a drive for us to go down and get 3. And he was his best when it mattered most. He now has 2 fourth quarter comebacks, which have been great. And also, I want to give credit to Sean Payton. At the end of that drive, we're looking at a 4th and 1 or 4th and 2. I know Sean Payton's kind of looking like he wants to go for it. He ends up calling the timeout, kicking the field goal to go up by 2. That's exactly what we needed to do. And our defense came up and stopped them when it mattered the most. I mean, that was the right call, but I could tell, man, to me, it just seemed like he was really battling his decision there, but we were just terrible in the short yardage game. I'm done with seeing Javonte Williams in the short yardage. I don't understand why we go with these outside running plays in the short yardage with Jaleel McLaughlin. It seems like they're always stuffed on these 3rd and shorts, 4th and shorts. I would really love to see Audric Estime in there in the future in these situations because he can at least fall forward, right? But nonetheless, Jaleel McLaughlin had a great day, especially in the second half. 14 carries, 84 yards, and he was one of the biggest reasons why we were able to win this game, keeping the offense going. I mean, we scored 27 points as an offense. Again, 14 points to pick sixes from our defense. That's great, but normally scoring 27 points, that should be enough to win with our defense. And yeah, I thought that Jaleel McLaughlin looked great, but I really want to see more of Audric Estime here moving forward. Again, Javonte Williams, 4 carries, 1 yard, and a touchdown. We've now seen like a couple games from him in a row like this. I would like to see him utilized less. Now, Marvin Mims finally connected on a deep route with Bo Nix, which was just the throw of the night, threading it in between those 2 safeties for a 93-yard touchdown. And I really think that was a big momentum shifter in the game, even though Jerry Jeudy kind of squatted and crapped on it, like 3 plays later with his big touchdown over Levi Wallace. That was just scorched. He was absolutely scorched. But Bo Nix, he made some big-time throws. I think you would rather see Bo Nix more aggressive than maybe a little passive. But I do agree with what Troy Aikman was calling out in the broadcast of sometimes, man, just hit these guys in the flats and see what they can do. Again, I feel like Sean Payton's agenda was to come out and really throw the ball around deep, prove a lot of people wrong with Bo Nix, and credit to Cleveland and Jim Schwartz. They had a good plan, and it just wasn't our best night offensively. But we were still able to put up 27 points now, which was great. Shout out to Cody Barton for his interception at the end of the game. Cortland Sutton was great yet again, 6 receptions, 102 yards on 9 targets, and I think he's making a very strong case to stay here as a number 2 wide receiver. Troy Franklin got involved a little bit as well, 2 receptions, 28 yards. Both Troy and Marvin Mims, both of them almost scored on screens. That was great to see. And with Josh Reynolds being out of the fold now, I would expect to see their role continue to expand. But I would really like to see some A.T. Perry as well. I think if we're talking about throwing the ball downfield, wanting to connect more on those aggressive deep shots, A.T. Perry's the guy to do that, and he's proven it last year in New Orleans, and right now we just haven't been able to see it happen with Troy Franklin in that area, though we've been getting him involved in other ways. So ultimately, this was a really, really great game by our Denver Broncos. Again, Didn't play our most perfect ball, but we made more good plays than bad plays, and we made the correct plays and decisions down the stretch. So y'all let me know your thoughts in the comments. Be sure to check out my video on Josh Reynolds being cut, what that means for the salary cap and the team moving forward. As always, go Broncos.